And we're back for a third time with Heather with her third quilt. This is in the handwork category, and this is line study number 2, Plaid Unravels. So you made a plaid quilt here. Kind of.
Kind of, yes. At the bottom, it comes apart and sort of disintegrates.
Did you start out with that disintegration?
No, I was
in
absolutely
mind?
not going to disintegrate. It was going to be full, straight, strict line plaids. As you can see, if you're from a distance, all of the big bars of fabric are
super dense.
Are quilted. There's not pieced. The piecing is the like neutral fabric, and behind on this very old print, there are 3 bars of it in the center, and those 3 vertical bars of print were what made me think this could be a plaid. I want to make a plaid. And then I quilted horizontal lines first, starting with the like densest quilting lines. And I used a blue, maybe I used 2 colors of blue that are very close together.
Yes.
Or it might be the same blue.
Yeah.
It changes when it's on different fabric backgrounds. And then a cocoa brown, in part because of the warm Essex linen-y fabric in there. And then I actually almost quit this quilt about 2/3 of the way in, which was probably around 200 hours of work on this quilt.
Oh my goodness.
And I just hated it. It was before the unravel. It was mostly just not all the horizontal lines, but a lot of them. And I just really was like, I knew I probably had like 100 hours more of work in it. And I was like, I don't think this is working.
Didn't quite love it.
I don't know
right?
if I could do it. I don't know if I should do it. Can I spend that much time on something that I'm really unhappy with? And I work at an art center, and I took it to the art center and I laid it out on the table because I'm looking at it in my house, which doesn't have the greatest lights. The skinny Chicago, row house, and the art center, big, beautiful light, big, beautiful space. And I was like, maybe I'll like it better if it's away from me and I can see it well, and other than the way I was looking at it. And I was looking at it and thinking about it and looking at it, I think after my class that I taught there. And we had an artist in residence named Robert Earl Page, who's an amazing Afrofuturist artist. He works in ink and paint, and he designed rugs and textiles in the 60s and 70s. And he's like 83 years old, and he was in residence, and he would wander around the art center poking on what's going on to see what's happening, especially because he's a legend in Chicago, and he's like very community based. And he pops in, and I'd only met him a couple of times, but enough to know that he should be at the art center, and that, and he walks in, and I remember him walking in and looking at it. I think he maybe said hello, but I don't know if he said much more than that. And he saw that I was looking at it, and so he started to sort of look at it from a bunch of different angles. And eventually he touched it and sort of like picked it up a little and felt it. And then he looked at me and he said, texture. And like nodded his head like, yeah. And then he left. I was like, Les, I don't know what to do about that, but maybe that is the sign from the universe that I should keep going on this quilt. So I did. And somewhere as I was adding the vertical lines, I think that's where it started to unravel first.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think here is probably where it was. I just felt like it was so hard and so hemmed in. And I talked about on one of the other ones that my process is to sort of respond to what's happening. And I don't have to respond in a hurry, in part because doing all of this takes a lot of time. So if I like get the idea over here that down there I'm going to unravel, I can finish all of this and maybe also do this before I have to do it. And also you could always take it out as fabric and thread. It would be very easy to stop. But I decided to do it, and so I added it in and then let it sort of start happening. Maybe I started on the horizontal when I did that. I don't remember, but I took the plunge, and then I feel like because this is so constrained and sort of the lines here are very formal, even though the texture inside them is organic, I like it felt really good to release the tension. And also I feel like at the time this was happening, there was some sandwich generation issues in my family. And things were stressful, and I just needed I needed the release as much as the quilt did to do that. So that is how we got.
I feel like what he picked up on, which was what I pick up on a lot with this piece, is that tactile invitation. I want to touch this thing.
It's real touchable.
I want to stroke all this dense work here. I want to feel the softness of the less dense work. And I kind of want to feel how it drapes. It's like there's such a tactile invitation in this piece. And I wonder if that's what he was responding to, is that texture.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
when he's not wrong when he said texture.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Sam.